Alright, starting now, recording. I think that this is an HB. So, I will probably recommend working with an HB. You're going to find 0 at the edge of your page. So, for the metal rulers, that's why I kind of changed your rulers from the metal ones and using the clear ones, because the 0 is much more clear where we're at. I'm going to line it up to the edge. Depending on which grid you selected, there's a 2x2 or a 1x1. So depending on what you're choosing, if I'm doing a 1 inch by 1 inch grid, meaning that I'm going to have more squares, but it's allowing me to figure out more details, I'm going to use that one just because it's a little bit easier than I'll do on the back side, the 2x2. So I'm going to mark off each inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 14. 14 is where it should hit the edge of the paper. I'm going to slide down, do the following of what we just did, but on the lower portion of the paper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? Then, to start the grid, I'm going to basically connect these lines from top to bottom and then follow through. Make sure that this grid or your lines is made really lightly. Like, I would probably go even lighter than what I'm showing, because I'm trying to show my lines for you guys to see. But for your artwork, the less you see, maybe the more helpful, because then you have less to erase whenever you're transferring your image on there. Okay? So I'm going to continue connecting top and bottom. Sometimes it's like playing pool. Like, I might keep my pencil on one of the marks and then kind of position my pull towards whichever direction the other mark is I'm trying to go to. It helps me line it up really fast. Okay, so one thing, so I have one set of lines going this way. I can flip over my ruler, or in this situation, because I'm kind of limited on my space, I'm going to just measure like this. I'm going to put 0 at the edge of my paper. This should measure to 10, because it's 10 by 14. And then I'm going to mark every inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 marks the side. I'm going to kind of slide and glide down to the other side. Do the same thing. 0 marks the edge of the page. Should measure close to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if there's like a measurement where it's like a little millimeter off from 10, whether it's shorter or longer, the reason why I keep my ruler the same way and just slide across, this helps if there's any like discrepancies or like some weirdness in the cut of the paper. It'll help the ruler lines stay parallel, and so if there's one side that's longer, it kind of evens out the grid. So now I'm going to connect one side to the other with the marks that I just created. So going from left to right in this situation. Make your lines a lot lighter than what I'm doing. I'm just doing this so that way people can see it. So if you're doing the charcoal, pastel, oil pastel, and you're using the grid, what I'd recommend is using the media that you're choosing, but you're going to have to possibly do something different with the ruler marks and also the ruler, because I do not want it to carry over on a white piece of paper for ink, pencil, color pencil. So for charcoal, for example, we'd use the metal ruler, and then we'd probably use the vine charcoal, and we'd probably do a dotted line instead of a solid line going down, because it's easier to, erase in some form. With oil pastel, we'd have to probably do some oil pastel, and we'd probably have to go with like a lighter color, and then make a dotted line as well, but then that way you can always go darker and push it over, but it'd probably have to be lightly applied. Same with pastel. This is where it gets a little dodgy. I might even encourage with pastel to use a vine charcoal, because you can actually get rid of it a little bit more, but it might ruin your vibrancy, so we'd have to obviously dot it and then make sure to kind of erase it, then apply the pastel. Okay? So that's with the larger size paper too, but it's the same kind of sense of directions. This is the 1x1. I'm going to go with the 2x2. Pretty self-explanatory. Same process, but instead of doing 1 inch by 1 inch, now we're doing 2 inches. So we're going to do 2 inches, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, so on, and then slide down 2, 4, 6, 8, go onwards, and then kind of carry onwards like that. So, sorry to be redundant. Here we go. I'm going to flip over the paper. I'm going to do 2 inches instead of 1 inch. So, line it at 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and it hits to 14. Slide your ruler down. Do the same thing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, hits to 14. So now follow through. Now the reason why some people would choose the larger squares over the smaller squares is that they're probably going to do more stylistic approach, that their detail doesn't matter nearly as much. Maybe they're not doing a face. Maybe it's purely just the body featured in there, and then maybe some more background space. So some people don't need as much of the squares to be represented. Maybe in this video I will include some pictures of people that probably use the looser grid versus the tighter one with 1x1. Okay. I'm going to slide over. Now going to do the same thing on this side. So this reaches to 10 inches, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, slide down. 2, 4, 6, 8. Connect your lines top to bottom, follow through. Make sure your lines are nice and light. Okay. Ta-da! So another person asked yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, why are we using the grid for this project? With foreshortened figure in general, it's a complicated drawing from a person. Usually it's a lot more challenging. So just like what we did, the portrait and drawing one, that's a challenging process for some students. That usually when using a grid, it has a higher accuracy for detail. So especially whenever we're trying to capture this detail, the grid is really helpful for it, okay? Alright. Thank you guys for listening. Goodbye. Let me stop the recording.